owners all around the country are constantly faced with being cash poor and bills rich heading into the end of financial year, looking to the numbers people to help them and their families manage their finances. It can sometimes feel overwhelming. The more time you put into your business, the more money you seem to generate for the tax department. Ben and Harvee from Inspire Life-Changing Accountants aim to flip the script on the social stigma around accounting. They believe in putting family first and work towards helping their clients get cashed up so they can pull more money, time and happiness from their businesses.
Look, Ben, thanks so much for meeting with us, and especially down here at Inspire Accountants. We've been following you guys for a little bit, and I know Harvee quite well, and have watched the journey of with the launch of the book, with Cashed Up, and then obviously moving forward into you guys being accountants for good. So I wanted to get you today to really understand a little bit more about what has driven you and Harvee obviously to build an accountant firm that is, well, it's really fun and inspiring, and hence what the name. But I just really want to know what that journey's been like.
Well, very early on in starting Inspire, I met a man called Paul Dunn, and some viewers may know him, but he's the chairman and founder of E1G1.
Yes.
I was listening to him talk about just things like as simple as put your hand up if you love coffee. My hand went straight up. Of course I did. Yeah. And at the time I think I was like on 6 or 7 a day.
Right.
Crazy amounts. And he said, okay, well, keep your hand up if you don't have a coffee in the morning, by 10 o'clock you're pretty upset. And I was like, yeah, that's me. I'm pretty grumpy. I think I got that off my mum.
Yeah.
And then the next question he said is, what if you went without coffee for a day? And I was like, what, headaches and migraines and withdrawals probably. And then he said that there's over 1 billion people in the world who go without not coffee but water every single day. Coming from what I consider privilege in a sense, like we have it so lucky here in Australia, for something that you kind of know there's people going without food and water, but when it's sort of put in perspective like that, when it's like something as dear as coffee to you, but it's water, that just really opened my eyes to say, look, we've got to use our businesses for something bigger than us, something even bigger than our clients even. A business should exist for delivering value to its clients, full stop, like that's a given, but we must go a level higher than that and help our sort of global community.
How long have you been working with Paul and the guys at B1G?
I think that was about month 2 or 3 of Inspire.
Oh, wow. So
6 years.
Yeah, right. So you've been, okay, cool. So with a lot of that, obviously with impacting people like Bali with helping out with eyesight.
Yeah.
In Kenya, so you've travelled to a lot of these spots because to oversee what a lot of the projects have been doing, not oversee, but see the impact. How has that been for you, actually going to these places and I guess seeing what is happening with that connection to B1G?
Yeah, so that was an amazing experience.
Yeah.
So my wife Stevie and I jumped on a plane in, I think it was January 2018.
Yeah.
And we flew into Nairobi and spent about 10 days in Kenya. Even reflecting back on it now, there was a whole heap of mixed emotions. Hey, there was some really heavy stuff that we saw, and some sad stuff that sort of, I guess, drove us to want to help more. And there was some really rewarding and almost like success stories of how. The thing I remember is not giving a hand out to them, but a hand up. So empowering them to be able to create sustainable incomes, or I'd recommend anyone who gives money or provides help to people locally or overseas is definitely go and see it, because it will just increase your enthusiasm for helping.
The reason why we wrote the Cashed Up book is based around the philosophy that you can't pour from an empty cup.
Yeah.
And so if we want to be able to help others, we first need to be able to look after ourselves. So we mapped out sort of 7 smart financial decisions that would help a business owner get cashed up. and that would mean ultimately they could have more, not so they could drive Ferraris and fly private jets, but so they can have more, so they can live more and give more. So that was really the bigger purpose behind the Cashed Up book.
You're making it more impact driven instead of just being like, this is the numbers and making it very strict. You made it something that's fun and empowering to your clients, but also to people we're a global outreach, right?
Yeah.
With every dollar of tax they save their clients, Inspire helps a family in need for a day with their Day for Dollar initiative. As of last year, they have provided 7 million days of life-changing food, water, hygiene and sanitation to families in need across 16 countries, delivering on their promise to help end poverty around the world. Their impact is a powerful reminder to how businesses can use their profits not only for themselves, but for the good of humanity.
There's so much inspiration all around us. Like I think about brands that have inspired us, like sombreros. They're a Mexican joint in Brisbane around Australia, and they've got this amazing initiative called Plate for Plate. So every time you buy a burrito, which I'm sure you and I have had a few out.
Oh yeah.
Through Plate for Plate, they give somebody a meal for every burrito that's purchased. And I thought, man, that is such a cool sort of initiative. And I always wear my Tom's shoes now. These
Yes.
are a little bit overworn, but Tom's really started this one-for-one movement where for every pair of Tom's shoes you buy, that they give a pair to somebody in need. And I thought, man, this is really cool around what these brands are doing, and I wanted to Inspire to be the very first accounting firm in the world who joined these organisations who are what I call now gold diggers.
Yeah.
Who align their businesses.
Oh yeah, so that's such a cool name. I like that.
Can we align our business around making a difference for these global goals? And so what we came up with and what we do now is an initiative called Day for Dollar. And so what it means is that for every dollar of tax that we save our small business clients, we give a day's access to food, water, health or sanitation to families in need. And so I'm really proud to say that not only have we saved our clients just over $7.5 million in tax as of today, but thanks to the Day for a Dollar initiative, we've also given over 7.5 million days worth of life-changing help to families in need in just over 16 countries.
Well, that is incredible work. That's great, man. And that's also and obviously it's reality. Like you've made an impact. You're actually working towards something for good, and seriously, that is awesome news. That's great.
So 7.5 million is a big number, but not as big as the number 1 billion, which is our target by 2030.
Yeah.
And I think having these big goals, big hairy audacious goals, if you want to call them that, or these sort of shoot for the stars type activities and culture in your business, it really helps all of the team and maybe even your clients and prospects really start to think bigger.
What's needed, right? Otherwise, if you don't have a vision for the future, and there's not a clear pathway, and you're like, this is my outrageous goal to achieve this thing, and you have nothing to work to. So having those sorts of goals is really incredible. 1 billion people by 2030. I mean, you're well on your way. You're doing well. That's incredible. So
thanks for your support.
No worries at all. I love it. Yeah, it's great. So but look, thank you so much for inviting us into your office again today, and going through a lot of your involvement with B1G1 and the Global Goals Initiative, and obviously the fact that you've got your business set up towards business for good. Thank you so much, Harvee. Really enjoyed it. Cheers, man.
Cheers.